Hello.
What's going on?
Hey, dude. As we are talking, it's we just finished and wrapped on Halloween. Did you have a good Halloween?
Best Halloween of my life, bro. I went to the craziest belly dance spot in LA. I was dancing, I was popping, I was locking. It was insane.
You seem like a cool guy to hang out with all the time. You would seem especially cool to hang out with on Halloween. Is that a big holiday for you?
No, that's a misconception, actually. Basically, for Oliver Tree, every day is Halloween. So when I go out for Halloween, I'm just pretty much a normal guy. So I think it's probably the opposite of what you're imagining. But I was at the belly dance spot and it was crazy.
And you actually did some belly dancing.
Yeah, I'm a belly dancer trained professional.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. I grew up belly dancing. I started like doing classes, I believe about when I was 8. And then when I was 10, I started competing regionally. And I actually competed in a national contest at age 12.
Do you use the little finger symbol things?
That's literally my signature. I love the finger symbols. They're so, it's crazy that you know about it because most people don't. But those things, they're not easy to find, surprisingly.
Well, it's so great to have you on. You're going to be coming here to Houston next year. We've got tickets on sale. It's this brand new hall, too. It's the 713 Music Hall, which we have not been there yet. So it's officially opening. I think Willie Nelson's going to open it. But, dude, this place that you're playing is so badass. I absolutely cannot wait. It's right downtown. It's got 3 acres of park space above. So bring your scooter. Bring all your toys because you're going to want to hang out for sure all day.
I'm going to be there. And anyone who comes, I'm going to be belly dancing. So you better get down there, get your tickets. They're selling out fast.
All right. So, yeah, you're right on that. 100%. So tickets are on sale right now. Gosh, I was just looking through some statistics. And, dude, how much do you have people that are kind of curating and keeping track of all of these numbers? I'm seeing such ridiculous numbers for you on Spotify and downloads and TikTok now and everything else. Is that something that you take a look at on a daily basis? Do you keep track of that stuff?
I do not. I don't even have Spotify, Apple Music. I don't have any social media apps on my phone. I'm off the grid, as they say. So I'm literally, I was just in the Middle East for the last month. So when I heard that this was taking off, I really didn't even believe it. And, they kept telling me, and after enough times, I was like, okay, maybe something's happening, but I don't trust these label folks. I don't really trust anything they have to say. So I'll just be frank with you. I didn't believe it.
But for a guy that says that he's off the grid, you are built for what's happening in this day and age on social media. Dude, you're exploding everywhere. It just seems to be crazy that you would not be paying attention to this sort of thing. You're catering right to that audience.
Well, look at the actual content that's being posted. I mean, every single piece is from the last 4 to 5 years. There's only one video that's the 10 million follower celebration that's with this actual haircut and my goatee. If you look at all the content, it's years and years old. I'm just recycling, and I've just been waiting for a content drop like this. I have pretty much 17 documentaries I filmed over the last 5 years, so I'm just beginning to dump a little bit of what I have in the hard drives.
So when we look at your major label debut, when that album came out in 2020, how old is the music that's on that album?
It's about 5 years old, maybe a little bit over, but the deluxe that just released, like Life Goes On, that song is 7 years old. That's actually older than the album itself, and I literally wasn't ever going to release that music. And I just was like, all right, this is just an excuse to put out some of the old songs. So a lot of fans were let down, but I was like, you guys, this music's 7 years old. What did you expect? But they don't know.
So then is it fair to talk about a follow-up album? I mean, it sounds like you're sitting on a lot of new stuff. So
yeah, so I went to the Middle East to finish my Cowboy Tears album. I've submitted it to the label. They haven't approved of anything yet. I'm not sure if they will. When I released a little snippet to my fans, everyone literally was like, boo, we don't want it. You should keep it. And I was like, all right, whatever, guys. I spent years making this for you guys. You don't care. But I guess the whole thing here is I'm at least 5 to 10 years ahead of the audience. And that's the way an artist really has to be. And it's crazy because Life Goes On was made 7 years ago. And that's how far ahead of the audience I am. It just came out 4 months ago. And it's connecting. I think if I dropped it 7 years ago, it wouldn't have really connected.
Do you have in your mind when you would like to see Cowboy Tears become available to us?
Sometime in the next 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years.
Yes. That's how far ahead Oliver Tree is of his audience, but also that's how long the goddamn label takes to release this music. So it's a mixture of the two.
But we're talking about a second album now, right? Like a second
Cowboy
full length.
Tears. It's a country album. So you better get ready. You better get your cowboy hat on because this is about to be a wild ride, brother.
But it sounds like I have a lot of time to get ready for that.
Yeah, you have about 5 to 10 years, roughly, give or take. But we'll see what happens if the fans want it, if they demand it, if they're commenting Cowboy Tears, Cowboy Tears. You never know. Something could happen within, 3 to 4 years.
Your music, your sound, it really is, all its own. Is there anything that you point to your youth that really was a spark for you to get you interested in music, art, all things that you do? Was there a piece of music that was the most important to you when you were young?
I've never really been a fan of music. The music I listened to when I was really young was like AC/DC rock music that was already had happened. I kind of missed the boat and I was always confused. Why am I born in the wrong era here? I never really connected with what was happening now in the present. So I guess what I felt was ignorance is bliss. I don't listen to music. I don't have, like I said, Spotify or Apple Music. I don't have iTunes, I don't even listen to music at all. So my main influence is film and visual type art that influence my art so that I can make things that are more visual, like the lyrics hopefully can kind of spawn a vision in your head. So I found ignorance is bliss. The less I know, the more I can do because, I don't want to sound like everybody else. And that stuff will not be timeless, will just kind of fit in with an era. And I'm looking to kind of make something that can last hopefully hundreds of years. We'll see, we're at the beginning of the internet era. So there's a world where some of this music could age well. Some of it might fall off in the next year or two. I mean, we'll see. Time can tell.
Now, some of the visuals that are associated with your videos, these are all you from start to finish. I heard that one of your videos, there was a $6 budget.
Yes, that is correct.
So which video are we talking that cost $6 to produce?
I was Bury Me Alive, one shot take video. It was something that I just decided to do. I was on this railroad track and I already had this, a little VFX makeup, this nose and some ears, some different stuff. And I bought some balloons and we filmed it and the police actually ended up coming and we had to get out of there. But it's not my best music video. I do not suggest watching that first if you're going to go watch anything. But I will say for $6, not half bad.
Guinness Book of World Records.
Yes,
what are you in?
Thank you. Finally.
What are you in there? Tell everybody what you're in there for.
I built the world's biggest scooter and I actually crashed the world's biggest scooter. You can see a live stream online of me breaking the record, but I ended up having to get taken away in an ambulance. So it was a fairly intense experience, but lifelong dream. I've had it since I was 5 years old. So
for some of us, myself included, that have not seen you perform live yet, you're doing some of these things because there's clips on the internet, which I hope that you're aware of, and you are incorporating a lot of performance into your music but you're taking things to a level that artists aren't doing. And I've got to ask, how are you holding up? Because some of these stunts seem very dangerous. And if you're doing them night after night, I would think there's a big risk there.
There's a lot of risk in everything I do, but the way I see it is that I would die for my art and whatever it takes to get the shot. So I've almost died on music video sets. I went to Ukraine. I was jumping off buildings out there and I had severe tinnitus. My ears were ringing super bad. Every time I hit the crash pad from this 11-story building, I had wire work on, but it doesn't make it hurt any less. You're still smashing really hard. And, I've had some very close calls, some different experiences, scootering, competing against R. Willie, the #1 scooter rider in the world. I went to Australia to compete against him. And my big Jinko jeans actually got caught in the back wheel. And that was a near-death experience. I fell, 15 feet to straight stones. And the doctor said I should have died.
Very reckless wearing those wide bottom jeans on any kind of a piece of equipment like that.
Yes. 1 second. Hey, can you stop typing, dude? I'm trying to work here. Get out. I can't think when you're typing like that, bro. You're ruining the whole interview. I'm sorry. One of my associates.
Question that maybe not even your fans would know. You're going to be playing 713 Music Hall on March 25th. Tickets are available now. I'm wondering the backstage, the atmosphere before you go on for a show. Any things that you could share with us that would be on your riders? What kind of demands do you have for the venues and the promoters to have for you ready when you come to town?
Well, one thing I always suggest that's a must is you need to have portraits of me. So I have these cutouts that people bring, and basically I won't perform unless my cutouts are there. I'll do one thing that's really important to me is my hot Cheeto baths. So I have them bring like at least 40 to 50 bags, the big bags of hot Cheetos. I have them dump it in the tub and I just immerse myself. And if I don't have that, I can't go on stage. I need to have my, it's kind of the thing that kind of gets the energy, the blood flowing. And typically I'll wait to shower till after the set. So I have some Cheetah dust on me, but the thing is that it's something about that I don't really know how to put it into words. I'm kind of at a loss of words right now, but it's quite an experience. You should try it if you haven't.
I'm just concerned. I'm wondering, so you're immersed in Cheetos, and then how soon after are you on stage?
It's about 5 minutes. I try to do it 5 to 10 minutes before I go on. And then, I have it set up so that there's some half pipes and various jumps. I'll just do, a little scooter warm up because I do some stunts on stage. And if I'm not properly lubed up for that, there's really no hope for me to actually pull off some of the stuff I try to. And, the show is everything. It's not just music. We have a mixture. There's WWF wrestling. I have a pretty, a kind of love-hate relationship with my bandmates, and we'll duke it out from time to time on stage. And, we do way more than just music. There's comedy elements, there's performance art, there's belly dancing. I mean, you have it all.
I understand and a lot of artists and musicians, and they were very, very busy during the pandemic. Some took the time off. I understand that you have written some films and some screenplays. Did some of that come out of the last 18 months?
Yes, both of them. I wrote 2 screenplays so far. Both of them were written during that period, and I took some time to retire, and I was focusing on making those movies. But the thing with film is it takes so long, from start to finish. You're talking about 5 to 10 years, which is not far off from an Oliver Tree album. But the thing is that I have to find the funding, the appropriate accoutrements, if you will. So that's something that I came back to release, maybe a little bit more music while I'm getting this film career started. And hopefully, I'm hoping in the next 5 to 10 years, right around the time Cowboy Tears comes out, that I can be really finishing music to move over and segue to film, because that's really my dream, is to make movies as a director and writer. So we'll see what happens with that, but that would be when I hopefully actually get a chance to retire, and only time will tell.
So you see yourself morphing because you're such a dynamic character in front of the camera right now. You see yourself moving to behind the camera.
Well, I'm a storyteller first and foremost. So whatever means necessary. Music is a very effective one because you don't have to get people to really spend too much time. Getting someone to watch a movie, an hour and a half or 2-hour film, is that's a lot to ask from someone. So I'm using this to build a base so that I can do whatever I want. If I want to be a fry chef and make the craziest, fried rice, whatever, I could do that. It's really true. I've done it before. I started out when I was releasing Vines and comedy videos, and people didn't even know I made music, and they were skeptical, and rightfully so. And then I released music, and I'd been doing music, since I was a kid. So this isn't something new to me, but I've been making movies since I was a kid. So that's not something new to me either. But truth be told, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even release this Cowboy Tears album, especially with the backlash from the fans. They don't even want to hear it. So I'm like, whatever, I'll listen to it. It's the only music I'm listening to, and I'll just make my movies. But, the label, I have some contractual agreements, and my lawyer, Jeremiah Jeffrey, has asked me to fulfill at least one last album. And the last thing I'll say on that is, my first album, if you can call it that, Ugly is Beautiful, wasn't really an album. It was essentially a selected works, a bunch of music recorded over, 5 years. So I don't even see it as my first album. It wasn't cohesive. It wasn't really a concept album. And when you look at Cowboy Tears, that's really my first album. And I'm hoping to be my first and my last. So we'll see what happens. Only time can tell.
When we talk about the greats like Michael Jackson or Prince. Okay, Prince is a great example. He's got a vault, and they say there's just thousands and thousands of recordings and things that are ready to go. What are you sitting on musically right now? I know we have Cowboy Tears, but do you have that together to a point where 5 years from now, you know what's going to be on there?
We'll see. I'm always changing and evolving, so a lot of that music feels outdated to me. That's why, I don't listen to music. The only music I listen to is the music I'm actually making at the time. I kind of get sick of the old stuff, so I'm not really revisiting any of that stuff. But I will say I do have over 1,000 songs in there. I've recorded over 40 albums. Ugly is Beautiful was the 41st album, and that's, it's nice when you can release an album after you've made so many. I had a pretty good idea of what that could be. But yeah, I have thousands of songs in there, at least 1,000, upwards of 2,000, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't really count, but I have made so much music. It's absurd, man. It's absurd. And the caliber's high. It's just that I have evolved a lot. My ears developed a lot. I have what they call the golden ear. And I've already outgrown so much of it. And I outgrew the deluxe of Ugly is Beautiful, but the label, they want to do it as a cash grab. I just wanted to put out Life Goes On. And that song was really never supposed to see daylight. I had a falling out with my friend who I made it with, and we're best friends again. So it's nothing to be worried about. But it was something where we both wanted the song, and I ended up, finally getting a chance to release it. And it's a beautiful thing that something that old can finally come out and be, more relevant than, if it was really released when it was made 7 years ago.
I mean, it sounds, you really do paint a picture with some friction between you and the label Atlantic Records. Do they ever tell you, do they ever gag you? Do they tell you to not do these types of interviews? Do they tell you to stay away from talking about this stuff?
I've been asked over and over, time after time, don't mention us, don't bring it up. And I say, hey guys, I'm an open book. Whatever you guys want to know, I'm going to talk. And, I'm going to tell it like I see it.
713 Music Hall. Oliver Tree is going to be here on March 25th. Tickets are available now. When you get some downtime in the cities, I didn't look at the actual tour itinerary, but when you get some downtime, do you get to go out? Do you explore some of these cities? Do you go out and scooter around a little bit? Or is it more, hey, I'm focused, and then just back on the bus, next show, move on?
It depends. I mean, I love to bring my scooters up. My whole gang has scooters, the whole band, the whole production company. We're all riding scooters around when we can, but there's sometimes where we're riding a bus, for 2 days to get to the show. We get there, you kind of burnt out. Sometimes we have to do radio shows beforehand and, 2 shows in 1 day. Kind of leaves limited time, but when I can and when the opportunity arises, I will be riding out there with my crew. You might see us.
I hope to see you cruising around town. And again, you're playing in what's going to be a phenomenal music hall. I can't wait to do our first show there this month, but you'll be here on March 25th. Tree, great to have you on, man. Love talking to you today.
And say hello to Willie Nelson for me. Tell him I got the #1 country album on its way.
I will tell him that. Oliver Tree, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too.